Railroad. Once again, for your personal safety, please remain seated when the train's in motion. Keep your head, arms, legs, and feet inside the car at all times. Parents, if you're boarding with little ones, please place yourselves on the outside of the row. If that is not practical, make sure they are held or easily within your reach. So say goodbye to Amy here at Smith Creek for getting us out on time. We now begin our journey to the front at Firestone Station. If you ever have a chance, stop by our Smith Creek Train Depot, built in 1858 by Grand Trunk Railroad, was the first stop on its way from Port Huron down to Detroit. It was located 8.5 miles south of Port Huron in the countryside, so the station master and family were allowed to live at the depot and conduct railroad operations. Grand Trunk Railroad was one of our first railroads to operate, or I should say international railroads to operate in the United States. We're now coming up to our Detroit, Toledo, Milwaukee Roundhouse. This was built in Marshall, Michigan in 1884 to service and maintain steam locomotives. We carry on that tradition today as a working roundhouse with the 3 coal-fired locomotives and diesel-electric that we operate here during the season. You're welcome to go inside, see what's going on today. Now just past the roundhouse, you'll see the backside of Liberty Craft Works. Here artisans are creating glass, pottery, printing, and weaving. The red building on your left is our cider mill. Cider was a very popular drink during the 1800s because you did not know if your water was safe enough to drink. We're now coming into the Firestone Farm. This is home to Harvey Firestone, founder of the Firestone Rubber and Tire Company. If you have a chance, stop by the farmhouse. You can go inside, see what life was like back in the 1880s. As we come into Firestone Station, I ask everybody to please look about you. Make sure you have all of your belongings as well as cell phones. Then if you would, remain seated until we come to a complete stop. Once the whistle sounds, it will be safe to exit on the right-hand side. Please wait for that whistle. Wait for the whistle. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Greenfield Village Railroad. For your personal safety, please remain seated while the train's in motion. Keep your head, arms, legs, and feet inside the cars at all times. Parents, if you board with little ones, please place yourselves on the outside of the row. If that is not practical, make sure they are held or easily within your reach. We'll say goodbye to Kelly and Joe here for getting us out on time. We now begin our journey to our Susquehanna station in our Porches and Parlors district. The farmhouse that we will be approaching was the birthplace of Henry Ford. He was born here in July of 1863, and the farm was located just outside of Detroit. If you have a chance sometime, you can stop by, go inside, see what life was like for Henry growing up here as a young boy. Now just past the farmhouse, you can look to your left. Down on our main street, you'll see the Ford Motor Company, Mary Claus Millinery, the Heinz Home, 1913 Herschel's Building Carousel, the Bite Cycle Shop, Right Home, and our frozen custard ice cream stand. We'll now be passing by Menlo Park. This was Thomas Edison's laboratory in New Jersey. He's credited with over 1,200 patents for this facility. If you have a chance, you can stop by, go inside. If you go up to the second level, you'll be able to see 3 of his inventions that are on display. Now, if you look to your left across the street, the yellow building is the Sarah Jordan boarding house. This is where all the single young men that worked for Edison would stay and live. It was one of the first buildings Edison had electrified. We're now coming up to the Anthony Bridge. This is the gateway into our Porches and Pylors district. From Susquehanna Station, you can walk the hill into Noah Webster's home. He is credited with giving us our first American dictionary that took over 25 years to complete. Or you can stroll down Maple Lane to see all of the homes we have here in the village. You can even go to the end of Maple Lane to see our colonial Daggett farmhouse. Now, as we come into Susquehanna Station, we can all say hi to Deb, station master here. And I ask everyone to please remain seated until we come to a complete stop. Once the whistle sounds, it will be safe to exit on the left-hand side. Please wait for that whistle. Keep your head, arms, legs, and feet inside the car at all times. Parents, if you're boarded with little ones, please place yourselves on the outside of the row. If that is not practical, make sure they are held or easily within your reach. We'll say goodbye to Deb here at Susquehanna Station for getting us out on time. We now begin our journey around the village to the north side at Smith Creek. We're passing by our Susquehanna plantation. This came from Tidewater, Maryland, originally comprised of over 700 acres. And in 1850, their principal crops were corn, wheat, and tobacco. We're now approaching our Cape Cod windmill. This was built in 1649 and is the last known original structure of its kind left in the United States. If you ever want to try colonial living, our Daggett farmhouse next to it predates the American Revolutionary War. It was built around 1754. If you ever have a chance, stop by, you can go inside, they'll be happy to tell you what life was like back in our colonial days. You can even go into the vegetable garden to see what they are growing for food here on the farm. The locomotive pulling us today is our 1873 Torch Lake. This was built in Taunton, Massachusetts for the Hecla Calumet Mining Company of the Keweenaw Peninsula in northern Michigan. This engine was used to haul the copper ore from the mines down to the smelters and then to the waiting ships. It is on the national roster as the oldest continually scheduled steam locomotive now in the United States. Now, as we enter into our nature reserve, this will kind of give you an idea of what it was like to travel across the United States in the early days of the railroads. Before that time, our major means of transportation were by stagecoach, wagon, horseback, or even walking. With the advent of the railroads, the time spent traveling distances was dramatically reduced. The engineer was building right now is called a running blowdown. This was standard procedure on all operating steam locomotives. This was the easiest way of eliminating any sediments that might be forming in the steam lines and boiler. So we got one lone turkey over here on the road. We're now entering into Walnut Grove. This is our activities field during the season. During the summer months, it's home to our historic baseball league. Our two teams, the Latigas and Nationals, compete against other teams from around Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. They play here on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, with the game starting around 1:30 in the afternoon. From here you can also see the backsides of the Giddings, Webster, and Frost homes. We're now approaching our Henry Ford Academy. To attend, you must be a resident of Wayne County. It is done on the lottery system, so if your name is drawn, you are allowed to attend your grades 9 through 12 for free. 9th grade starts at our academy next to the museum. The main building here is for grades 10 and 11. Now, as we go around the turn, you'll find 3 passenger rail cars that have been combined into 3 classrooms. This is where the seniors will finish out their final year. We'll now be going by our Swanee Lagoon, which is only used for flood control in the village. We're now approaching our Henry Ford Academy.